This video shows you how operational categorization is used in BMC Remedy ITSM and related applications, and some basic information about how it is configured. After watching, you should be able to determine which categories to create for your environment and what information to gather before creating them. Operational categories are used in ITSM, SRM, and SLM. They are an optional part of your foundation data and provide a three-tiered system for categorizing actions as well as the symptoms of incidents and problems. In menus throughout the ITSM, SRM, and SLM applications, the Tier 1 category that you select restricts which Tier 2 categories are displayed, and the Tier 2 category that you select restricts which Tier 3 categories are displayed. An operational category can represent work being performed by support staff, such as the examples just shown, or it can represent a symptom of an incident or problem. You can relate a category to specific companies for whom it can be used, or you can relate it to global to use it with all companies. You also relate each category to the specific ITSM, SLM, or SRM modules in which it can be used. Each category has a life cycle based on its status value, and you can only use categories with a status of enabled. Next, you'll see how operational categories are used across the ITSM, SLM, and SRM applications, starting with those uses that are common to several applications. You can specify operational categorization for high-level requests such as this incident, problems, known errors, changes, and releases, and also for work orders and tasks. You can use operational categorization to search for records in many contexts and as a basis for reports. Here, Alan Albrook uses operational categorization when searching for the change request he wants to relate to this incident request. In requests that have an assignee or approver, operational categorization can be one of the factors considered in automatic routing of the assignment or approval. For example, this record automatically assigns the change manager role for change requests regarding provisioning a server to Calbro's back office support group. The change and release management application uses operational categorization in several additional ways. You can register a time segment against an operational category and location, which specifies whether work of that category is available to be performed at that location during the time segment. For example, Calbro Services registered a time segment that prevents server storage from being changed during business hours. When creating the risk factor questions that help your support staff determine the risk level of a change request, you can define operational categorization for each question. For example, this question will appear only for change requests that pertain to the decommissioning of a server. You can use operational categorization to define the cost rate for change requests and tasks. For example, this cost rate template will be used only for change requests categorized in Tier 1 as requests. You can also use operational categorization to filter release requests in the change calendar. This helps you narrow potential conflicts to those that actually affect the change or release that you're planning. In SLM, you can use operational categorization in the qualification that matches a service target with incidents, changes, releases, and service requests. For example, this service target will be attached only to change requests about failures of availability. In SRM, you can configure a process definition template to take operational categorization as an input from one application and pass it as output to another, maintaining the categorization of a request from end to end. In this PDT, a change request passes its operational categorization to a work order. Before looking at configuring operational categorization, let's review the ways that it's used in ITSM, SLM, and SRM. You can specify categorization for various ITSM requests, tasks, and SRM work orders. The categorization of a request can help determine its assignee or approver. You can register a time segment against an operational category and location to determine availability for changes or releases. You can restrict risk factor questions and cost rate templates to changes of a specific category. You can include operational categorization in the criteria that matches requests to a service target, and you can pass operational categorization along the chain of requests in an SRM process. To configure your operational categorization, from the Standard Configuration tab on the Application Administration console, click Create next to Operational Category. After entering a category name in each tier, you select whether the category will immediately be enabled or undergo review in the proposed state. Then you select whether it is attached to the company selected in the Application Administration console or the global company. When planning your operational categorization, consider these points. What are your reporting needs? What criteria will you use to determine assignees and approvers for requests? What criteria will you use to map service targets to incidents, changes, and other requests? Do you need different categories for different companies? When defining your product categorization, you should include your business process team as well as managers for several ITIL processes. And you should use the existing categories provided by BMC to give you ideas for your own categories. We hope this video has helped you understand how operational categorization is used in BMC Remedy ITSM and related applications, and some basic information about how it is configured. Thank you for watching.